Thank you for joining us on The Burning Question. Ladies and gentlemen, we are deviating a little bit from the usual political debates that we do on The Burning Question to get you what is one of the most talked about or should be talked about issues. And the reason why I'm saying it should be talked about is because it is Arnab and team. 16 years ago, we broke a story called Monkeygate. Monkeygate. When Indians, whether it's Indian cricketers or Indian fans in the crowds in Australia, at the exact same tournament, the Border Gavaskar Trophy or the BGT, Border Gavaskar Trophy, in 2008, our players were taunted by a few racist Australians. And 16 years later, after Monkeygate, those racist taunts are back on the ground, in the crowds. And that's our focus on The Burning Question. And at a time when our players, the BCCI, the bosses in BCCI, the powers at BCCI are busy with their own PR games. PR games. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Gautam Gambhir, everyone's got their own angle, but nobody's talking about the real story, the racism on the ground at the Border Gavaskar Trophy. Here are the headlines this evening. Outgoing US President Joe Biden has decided to give the highest civilian honor to George Soros. Where's your visa? Where's your visa? Taunt the Australians, the racist Australians taunting Indians in Sydney. A triangular battle for Delhi locked. Arvind Kejriwal versus Parvesh Sharma versus Sandeep Dixit. Journalist murdered, dumped in a septic tank. Links leading to an aide of a Congress leader. Asaduddin Owaisi questioning the chadar sent by the Prime Minister. Kiran Rijiju was the emissary. All out politics. And we've decided to take a deviation on The Burning Question this evening to get you a video that's been doing the rounds. And it's very clear. It's a video from Sydney. It's a video from the ongoing Border Gavaskar Trophy. And it's shameful. It's shameful because, ladies and gentlemen, Visagate is here. 16 years after Monkeygate. Listen to what the racist Australian crowd at this portion of the stadium had to say to India and Indians. Okay, joining us in the first section of The Burning Question this evening, I have Shekhar Vijayan, who's a sports journalist, and I also have a veteran sports journalist, Gulu Ezekiel, joining us. Gulu, Guluji, you have been, I remember seeing you on all those debates with Arnab over the years. I think 16 years back is when Monkeygate happened, right? 16 years ago. And I'm shocked, sir. And I'm shocked, Mr. Ezekiel, today, the biggest headline coming out of Australia, or at least in the social media, we're all debating the PR tactics. Some are questioning Rohit Sharma. Some are blaming Virat Kohli. Some are pointing fingers at Gautam Gambhir. In the middle of all of this, the racism, the open racism in the grounds and in the stands is not being discussed, is not being debated. Nobody's even raising questions on this. Guluji.
Yeah, first of all, I'd like to make a small correction here.
Yeah.
The 2008 episode, which has been dubbed Monkeygate, was not because of racist chants from the Australian crowds. It was because an Indian cricketer was accused of making racist taunts against an Australian cricketer of mixed race.
Yes.
Now, so let's not get confused with so-called Visagate and so-called Monkeygate. Now, the last time an Indian team taught in 21-22, there was a section of the crowd which was taunting them, saying, "Where's your passports?" That section of the crowd was evicted by Cricket Australia under their anti-racism rules. So now that you have brought up this issue, where's your visa? To be very honest, my concentration has been totally on the cricket. And it's been a fantastic series and a fantastic test match, just 2 days. So it's been very riveting. And this particular issue was not brought to my notice until you called me to a discussion. Since Cricket Australia had taken action 3 years ago, when the taunts were similar, I would expect that Cricket Australia would take action this time as well.
I want to ask you, there's a lot of chatter, of course, around the PR of players, with Rohit Sharma sitting out or deciding to sit out, whatever it is, right? There is conversation around that, Mr. Ezekiel. But this, and what happened with Virat Kohli when he was, walking back into the dressing room after, getting dismissed, right? There's a lot of it. Now, there is a feeling that there is a lot of racist taunts, right, in the stadiums, but not being discussed in public or being raised, perhaps. Do you think it should have been done or has already been done?
Well, as I said, action was taken 3 years ago. As far as that incident with, and I hope it will be this time as well, as far as that incident with Virat Kohli, I have seen the video repeatedly. There's no indication of racist taunts. Yes, there may have been taunts. And that it was a fallout of Kohli, with his shoulder, I suppose you call it shouldergate, against the Australian teenager, Cam Constance. So every action which happens on a cricket field, there'll always be a reaction from the crowd. When you have a crowd of 80,000, you can't, discipline each and every person. What you can do is you can take action, and if the charges are found to be valid, then you can remove the spectators, as was done 3 years ago by Cricket Australia.
Yeah. I'd like to get in Shekhar Vijayan here. Shekhar, what do you make of these taunts? I mean, it's become common, almost.
See, Niranjan, first up, a very happy new year to you and to Guluji and to everybody in Republic TV. Now, the second thing here is, India has been winning consistently against Australia. If you look at the recent record of India against Australia in 2017, 2018, 2020, 2021, they won in all the 3 years. So somehow India always gets under the skin of Australia. But somehow they don't like it. This is a strategy they always use. They taunt us, they intimidate us, and this is what they always do. And this has happened. This is not the first time it's happening. When you're talking about racist chants or intimidatory chants, it's always happened in the past. Now, this has always happened in Australia. And as you mentioned, the Monkeygate scandal, which happened a few years back, it also goes to show that there is a breakdown in communication. And the fact of the matter here is that Australia really needs to take a lead role in this. This is a series which has watched the world over. Everybody's watching this. The cricket is fantastic. It is Test cricket at its best. But these issues which happen outside the cricket field should not really happen. Things like raise your visa, or players calling out, or even spectators calling out Virat Kohli, or what has happened. When he's walking back to the pavilion, it's certainly not done. There needs to be a rule in place. There needs to be a strategy in place. There needs to be proper fundamentals in place in terms of how do you take this forward. Because this is a series which has watched the world over, and like I said earlier, India has always been winning against Australia. Yeah, because India does not play with Pakistan regularly. Australia and India are the two most feared opponents. And, India tactically is very good. And somehow, Australians always believe that somehow they can get under skin in this manner. And with this series taking a very, very interesting turn, they'll do whatever it takes to rile up the opposition, which is what Australia has always done in the past. They call it mental disintegration. They call it, they call it vilification. They call it tactics. That's what they've done. Now, Indians, we Indians as a country are very emotional. Of course, we look at it. For us, cricket is much more than just an emotion. I think it's about national pride.
Yeah.
And looking at what's happened, in the stadiums, and the stadiums are packed. Got 80,000 plus people in all these stadiums, which just goes to show they never had this kind of audience in the past. So I think it's also about crowd management. It's also about event management. It's also about how do they manage infrastructure. I think there needs to be a proper, plan in place in terms of how do you take out such spectators who are trying to create a nuisance. Because this statement, where's your visa, is certainly not done. You cannot be going around asking statements like this when the focus should be on cricket. I think good banter is fine. But if you're going to go, below the belt and ask, where's your visa, and then Indians also go back and ask them, where's your sandpaper? That conversation changes completely. I think what's really important is the focus should be on cricket. The focus should be on the banter, of course. But the focus should be on the fact that there is history behind this. Like I said, India and Australia have always been very fearful opponents. And they will do whatever it takes to get India, out. And they're doing whatever it takes. They first of all attack Virat Kohli. And the shoulder incident is obviously not right, which Kohli did. And I think he's understood the implications of it. But him getting abused while going back to the pavilion is certainly not done. The visuals which you're showing right now in terms of where's your visa, I've seen those visuals. This video is actually trending on social media, Niranjan. So everybody in the world has actually seen this.
Yeah.
Like this, it looks very cheap, I would say.
No, my worry is, I'll tell you my worry is, and Guluji, while I have you with us, let me, try and deviate a little bit to just, get in one last word before I move on to the political debate. While we're at it, what do you make of, this debate on what's going on in the dressing room leaks, right? Rohit's PR. I saw a soundbite, a lot of people commenting saying that there was no need for a broadcaster, I won't name the broadcaster, to bring him on in an interview and him making a statement saying, I'm not going anywhere. And this entire drama is going on around these veterans. Of course, we've had a riveting test series. These are greats of the game. You can't discount what they've done for Team India. But the drama around it, the PR stunts, everyone's caught up in their own image, their own PR activity. No one's looking, there's a feeling that nobody is looking at the larger game as such.
Yeah, this is a very interesting topic, and I think the topic that is really the burning issue today is that the entire team management and the officials around the team have really messed up this whole issue.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the broadcaster showing the interview of Rohit Sharma, I frankly see nothing wrong with it at all, because the captain, the former captain, current captain, whatever you're calling him, incumbent, has every right to air his own views also. Since the newspaper story had got some kind of motivated leaks from the dressing room, and that created considerable turmoil and a lot of rumors and innuendos flying around. So perfectly okay to get a reaction from the horse's mouth itself. So I would back the interview with Rohit Sharma because, as I said, he has every right to give his point of view. Whether you agree with his point of view or not is a different matter.
Okay.
But the whole thing could have been done in a much more graceful manner. All this, cloak and dagger and all this subterfuge and all these hints and all this stuff, it only adds to the intrigue and it only adds to the gossip. And today's social media is frankly a cesspool. It just picks up on anything and makes a massive issue out of a mountain out of a molehill. And some of the crude comments that go back and forth between so-called fans of the game on social media are a slur on the face of cricket. And also, these things should be, instead of blown up by the mainstream media, I think they should be thoroughly ignored and condemned. So I would hope that the mainstream media does not keep picking up cues from the social media and creating stories out of nowhere. And so whatever has happened in the case of Rohit Sharma, I see it in a positive sense that this is only the second time in recent history that a cricket captain has dropped himself from the team. And the last time it happened was with the England captain Mike Dines in the Ashes series in Australia in 1974-75. So I think that this should be a welcome move. And whatever happened behind the scenes, maybe we will never get to know, because the BCCI is far from transparent.
Yes.
It should come out openly with a statement telling us what exactly was the background. And until then, social media will go to town with all the usual nonsense back and forth, and that's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, absolutely. And let me tell you just one last point as I thank both Guluji and Shekhar. We don't pick up that trash from social media most often. I mean, all these comments, we don't usually pick that up, and for the right reasons. And we thought it's fit to pick this up because this is a racist taunt. Oh. It's outright racism. I mean, there is no space for this. Can you imagine? Today, I won't be surprised if there are some Indians who defend this, right? That's our mindset. We'll let go of everything. We'll be okay with everything. And can you imagine if this were to happen in India to an Australian cricketer? I'm not saying it doesn't happen.
May I step in here for a moment?
Yeah, sure, okay, sure.
It did happen to an Australian cricketer in 2007, October, when the Australian team came for a series of one-day matches in India, and the late Andrew Symonds was repeatedly met by racist taunts from the crowd. The BCCI refused to take action until the final match at Bombay, Monkeygate Stadium, Mumbai, when an Australian photographer took photos and showed it to the BCCI officials. They then acted very strongly, and the police evicted three spectators from the Monkeygate Stadium and had them questioned at the police station. So it has happened in the past, particularly when West Indies and Zimbabwe cricketers come to India. That does not justify what happened in Australia, but let's not pretend that we are also blameless in this unfortunate game, because we also have our cricketers and our crowds also have a history.
I agree with you, sir. I agree with you, and full respect to what you said. I completely agree with you. And the reason why I brought up that PR part, and I'm ending with this, and I promised to end with this today, also trending on social media, because sometimes as journalists, we just scroll through social media just to see what's going on, right? There was an actor, I won't name her, but she was sent a message by a cricketer's PR team to post exactly as is on Twitter. And even that screenshot is doing the rounds. I'm just saying that, everyone's, busy, worried. They're worried about their own image than the game itself. I mean, and we felt this is important because this is the story. For us, this is the story. And how India plays tomorrow will be the story. That's where it has to end.
I hope there will be a story tomorrow, and I hope you'll call me if India does win. Because unfortunately, I'm only called by studios when there are controversies.
Okay, we promise you we'll continue to take this up. And we'll see you more often. I can assure you we'll see you more often, and this week on Republic. Thank you very much.
Look forward to that.
Look forward. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gulu, Ezekiel and Shekhar. Thank you for that. And